You are listening to No Limit, the 90s Eurodance podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 1996 episode of No Limit, the 90s Eurodance podcast with me, Ed.
And me, Ben.
I hope you're all right out there in Eurodance land. We've had some really great responses to our first two episodes, haven't we?
Yes, we have actually, yeah.
And you've been on the old Instagram.
I have.
No
yes.
Lim podcast on
podcast.
Insta. How's it been going?
Yeah, I've just been trying to work out, what would be popular and what people might like to see, and some of like the covers of our favourite tracks, etc.
Some of them are questionable, aren't they?
But yes, yeah. No, I'm just. Yeah.
You've been having a great time.
Yeah, no.
Well, the thing is, because Ben is a little... Now, we're going to give something away here. Ben is a little bit more up on his Eurodance than I am. So you kind of know all the people, all the kind of Eurodance acts that were bigger in other countries.
Yes, I mean, some of them that were really big in like, on the continent, and like, people like, I don't know, DJ Bobo or Mr. President or Master Boy, they were also really, really huge in places like Brazil and Argentina and Peru and Mexico and South Africa and, I don't know, Indonesia, Japan, So we're getting a lot of like responses and likes from those parts of the world as well. And
there's loads of people, there seems to be loads of different Eurodance obsessed sites, Eurodance stan sites as well.
There are, there are loads on Instagram, with the hashtags. There's loads of Eurodance, 90s Eurodance. There's practically a hashtag for every different song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Almost.
And I was really surprised because I don't know a lot about Master Boy, but there's loads of fans out there of Master Boy.
Yeah, more so than some of the British ones that
I
people
know.
will know really well here.
Mm.
But yeah, there is. I'm quite surprised. The ones perhaps, the ones you wouldn't expect, or say a British fan wouldn't expect, you wouldn't expect to see lots of likes for. There is.
Yeah, you posted something about DJ Bobo, and that got like loads of likes.
Yeah, loads. That's
Laura likes.
The Laura.
As Scylla would say.
Yeah, that's the most. So Mr. President got loads as well.
Really?
Loads. And LaBouche. Yeah.
Good old LaBouche. I'm getting a bit of an education as well myself, because obviously I didn't know a lot about LaBouche. I knew nothing about Master Boy, and I'm kind of glad about that. Although you have chosen a Master Boy track this time around.
Slightly different Master Boy track style for them this week, but yes, sticking with Master Boy.
And, I've got to say it, and, no spoilers, but I liked it.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
I know, it is good. It's very catchy.
It's very different to their other stuff, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I did like it, but we're going to come to that in a minute. Now, you have had this week, Ben, or was it last week, a birthday?
Yes, on the 20th of October, yes.
There you go. Oh, God, it was a while ago now, wasn't it?
But last Tuesday.
Yeah, we don't see each other that often, only to record this.
I forgot.
And it worked. So I've got you two little gifts. This one, because you know that I go and scour the charity shops for Eurodance singles.
I've seen the new photo.
Oh my goodness, how many? So I brought you a couple, so I want you to talk about them. One we've talked about before.
Excellent. Tuivisa. Oh la la la. I loved it. I used to have it on CD.
Oh, there you go.
I don't have it anymore.
Oh, well, you do now.
And I never had this, the original West Ham Wizards of the Sonic, and I did not have this originally. Even though I think it was released, I never got the single, but I love it.
Oh, good.
I do love it. Thank you so much.
That's my pleasure. Well, I thought there's loads of remixes on there. And I mean, it was only a silly little thing, but I thought
I'll take photos of these.
I didn't actually, put them on Insta. I didn't actually know whether you liked Tua Visa, but the fact that
I like, yeah,
it
because I've
sounded
got some of their own
Spanish,
songs as well.
and any song that's called Ooh La La, you tend to like.
Yes. Good old Alexia there. Come on, we're talking
No.
about her, weren't we? No, I
Alexia
love, yes,
there.
and I always remember this lovely special CD cover case.
Oh, it's pretty.
Classic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah. I love this. And they had another song, Fire in the Sky, as well. That was great.
There you go. You can relive those memories. So I hope you like those. But this is your actual present, and I hope you like it.
Do I have to open it now?
Yeah, you have to open it for all the fans,
Okay.
all your fans out there.
You hear that? Oh, Space Invaders.
Yeah.
It's MC Sar and the Real McCoy and Space Invaders, which was the original version of their album, which was later renamed Another Night. So,
And we were talking about it in our first
Wow.
episode, weren't we?
yes, we were, yeah.
And
And
you
I
were
said
saying
about
how
how they
much-
renamed it.
But you've
and-
never heard it, have you?
No, I only Another Night, the album they re-released.
Yeah, but you've never
not
heard that
this
one. You wanted that
no.
one.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
So there
Did
you
have
go.
to order this?
That was fresh from Germany.
Was it really?
Yeah, it arrived this
Did
morning.
you have to order it off Amazon?
No, I ordered it off Discogs. I
Oh,
think.
did you?
Yeah,
Oh wow, that's great.
I know.
Thank
So you're gonna have
you.
to. You'll have to have a listen of that and just review it for us, perhaps.
Oh, I will definitely.
What songs are on there that weren't on that were on Another Night? Do you reckon they're all different versions?
Oh god, I don't know how long.
This is 94. This was released. Je suis amoureux. That
Do you want
wasn't.
me to look up the original?
That wasn't on Another Night. Mega Blast.
So I'm just trying.
Automatic Lovers on here. Runaways on here. Another Night, obviously.
So I'm just trying to find.
They
the
haven't got.
original
There
album.
were a couple of.
Oh, I don't have it.
There were a couple of more poppy ones on the Another Night that aren't actually
Yeah,
on
because
here.
they made it a bit more poppy for the US, didn't they? You see.
And there's only 2 of them.
And
Yeah, because there was the other girl on Another Night, wasn't there?
yes, there was.
Pat and Karen, as I
Yeah,
remember.
yes, because the other girl on Real McCoy, they what's the word? Recruited her.
Yeah.
For the US audience. Yeah. So.
Mm.
Oh wow.
So there you go. Happy
was
happy
great.
birthday and happy Halloween.
I've never seen the cover for Space Invaders. I was
Oh.
trying to find it. Yeah. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. It's a bit of listening pleasure for you there.
It is indeed.
Which you'll be able to do if we lock down again.
Yeah.
Flipping heck. Right, okay. Let's talk all things 1996. Look, I've put a bit of CK1 on for you.
Oh, lovely.
We've also got the Spice Girls are all around you from a load of plastic rubbish that I would have bought in 1996, including the Spice Cam.
Just,
Can you believe it?
I've just seen it. I've just noticed that. I saw the signed photo.
Yeah, well, what you can do. Well, they're not actually signed, but
Oh,
it's
I
a
thought they were.
reproduction. But you can swap them round for who
Oh.
your favourites are. So obviously, I'd done that in 1996, and my favourite was Mel B. My favourite's Jerry now. So, what was going on 1996 in the world of Eurodance?
Wow. 96 was a bit of a game changer because I think in 95, like I said, Eurodance had really reached a peak with its original sound.
Mm.
And in 96, a lot of the Eurodance acts that were big in 95 were still around. But I feel like there was many people within the industry who basically said, there was observers who said that the Eurodance sound had to evolve or change somehow or die, basically.
Mm.
So a lot of the acts that had been big the previous years, they either tended to speed up a bit in their production or slow down. Slow down especially into that kind of Euro reggae infused kind of pop.
Clock did it, didn't they?
Clock did it, yeah, to Oh What a Night, which was one of their, well, it stayed in the top 40 longer than any of their other hits. No, it didn't reach the top 10. And obviously Mr. President, they radically changed a different sound in 96 because they were very Euro dance in 94 and 95. And Coco Jambo was the song that put them on the map.
Yeah.
Even though they'd been big in Germany before then.
That's the only one I know.
Yeah.
Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, take my heart and make me happy. Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, fill my heart and make me happy.
Here we go, getting smooth to the groove. Watching lovely ladies as I smooth as they move. Cause that's what they say, but I can't prove. So turn it up again and watch me move.
Sometimes it comes on Clubland TV and I do a bit of a...
Oh my God. I used to love that video on the beach.
Why did she sing like that?
We're back on ground. I love her. Good old Judith Henkelman.
Oh, they've always got catchy names,
They
haven't
have.
they? Judith, Pat, Karen.
But yeah, and obviously Master Boy went a bit Euro pop reggae in '96 with Land of Dreaming as well, and
We'll talk about that in a minute.
and then a couple of other acts such as Two Brothers on the Fourth Floor and the brilliant Teaspoon, who we haven't mentioned yet. They kind of speeded up into a kind of happy hardcore style, but so did Clock as well at the beginning of '96 with Fly Away. So
But that was only released for the Japanese market.
Yes,
As
yeah.
Tinker said in our last episode, that was purely for a Japanese release
yeah.
that then ended up on the album because obviously it was all their songs together.
But I think that whole Euro rave sound, it definitely peaked in the first half of '96. Because even though we'd seen quite a lot of it in '94 and in '95, yeah, it definitely reached its peak in popularity in Holland and Germany in particular. And you had acts such as Critical Mass and DJ Paul Elstack and R&B and Charlie Lonois and Mental Theo were my favourites. Charlie, Wonderful Days. Do you remember Wonderful?
No.
Scooter. And obviously Techno Head and Raiders Nature as well. And they were all massive. And then in Holland, I mean, there was Lipstick, I'm a Raver, which was number one. And
It was number one?
yeah, number one in the Netherlands.
Oh,
and so was
about that
Nakatomi,
later.
Children of the Night as well.
Right.
So,
I wanna dance until the sun goes down. Dance until the world goes round and round. I'm a raver, can't you see? Do you wanna rave all night with me? I wanna dance until the sun goes down. Dance until the world goes round and round. Round and round. Round and round. Dance until the world goes round and round.
All of these you can go and check out for yourself. Because I think I'm going to have to, because I don't know any of
sorry.
them. Well, to be fair, in 1996, that was the year really that I discovered house music. And it was the year of of clubbing, wasn't it? Clubbing was taking off in a massive way. The superstar DJ was starting to be born. Ibiza, people were starting to go to Ibiza.
Yeah.
So the club scene just erupted in '96, and they had
Oh, it did, yeah. The
that
dance veered off in so many different directions in '96, and obviously
it was like a spaghetti junction, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you had like progressive house and Euro house and dream house, instrumentals, and obviously some of the male vocals, the raps were beginning to be dropped a little bit.
I was going to say, because there are a couple of your tracks that actually the rapping just gets less and less.
It does, yeah, it does. I mean, even in the pop hits. Oh, and a special call out to German happy hardcore woman Blümchen as well.
You just spat on the microphone when you said that. No.
Good old Blümchen. Yeah,
I love the way you say it in a proper way. It's
Yeah, Blümchen, yeah.
We'll talk about them later on as well.
Yeah.
Ben's got a veritable smorgasbord of these 90s Eurodance hits, which we will put in for you, lovely listener. And I'm going to review them. That comes a little bit later on. So what were big hits in the UK then?
Oh God, there were so many.
There were
loads. There was a mixture of Eurodance and, as I said, progressive house, instrumentals, dream house. You had house with just like the odd vocal here and there. Do you know what I mean? Like ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Like hysteric ego. Something like that.
Oh yeah, Want Love. I love
Yeah,
that
One
tune.
Love. Yeah, and There was loads. And
So come on, hit us with some titles.
I mean, I think obviously you've got to mention Faithless,
Yeah.
Insomnia, because that kind of produced my favourite dance instrument of all time, the pizzicato.
I never sleep. I never sleep. I never sleep. I never sleep. I never
Popularised by Sash and DJ Quicksilver and Red 5 and Brainberg. And that is, I love that because it was used in so many tracks in 96, 97, 98.
And that's what it's called, the pizzicato.
Pizzicato.
Oh, wow.
Like a plucked instrument.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you say that Faithless were kind of a Eurodance?
No, not really. But
they weren't
Insomnia,
flavoured.
It was Euro. Well, I mean, a lot of the acts towards the end of '96 they weren't classic Eurodance, but they started that sound. But no, not really. They had Eurodance sounds in them, but Euro house sounds in them. But they were.
I mean, people might argue with me, but I think it sounded like a bit of an evolution because, like you said, a lot of people were either speeding up or slowing down, and possibly if you sped up Insomnia, it would sound like a Eurodance hardcore record.
Yeah, it would do. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they're not such distant cousins.
No, not really. I think, but like I said, like obviously Sash and that came later was similar to Faithless a little bit, Encore une fois, and so yeah.
Were you a fan of Sash?
I was a massive fan of Sash.
Yeah. What's your favourite Sash song?
Encore une fois.
Is it?
Encore une fois and Mysterious Times probably.
Because you love a bit of Tina.
I do. Killing time. I'm just killing time since you went away.
I can't believe that they released a song called Just Around the Hill.
That wasn't their best.
Well, it sounds like some kind of orientation Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme. It's like Just Around the Hill. Yeah,
and there was obviously, like I said, progressive. I mean, I don't know if this is, but you had a lot of stuff like, I mean, my favourite house track of all time, Gap Decor, Passion.
Do you like the original or do you like the...
No, the 96 remix.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of the original. It's too slow.
Yeah, the vocals, which is from... It's from Sheila Garrett, is the sang the original.
Give me all your hand, I can show you how. Do you want it right now? I've got to know, I've got to know, I wanna Do you want it right now, babe? Show you how if you want it right now. Do you want it right now, right?
Sheila Garrett then went on to sing with the Brand New Heavies in the 90s.
Oh, yeah,
and she also wrote one of Michael Jackson's tracks and duetted with him.
I Can't Stop Loving You, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she is incredible. And there's an episode, actually, podcast listeners, if you like RuPaul's Drag Race, there's an episode where they interview Sheila Garrett and she is so brilliant, really funny. Go and check it out. It's called What's the Tea by RuPaul. What other hits?
Well, there was like K-Doc, The Night Train, wasn't there?
Love
and the
that
Club
tune.
Heads, Club Hopping,
Yeah.
and Lisa Marie Experience, Keep on Jumping.
There was a lot of, like you said, those kind of little hooky things rather than a full...
Night Train. Yeah, or just one... Or just two words, or one word.
Like Club Hopping was like a little...
And then, which was...
Yours is a half step.
But yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb. You're making me dizzy, pumping the junk into my mind. Notice a half step, but yours is a full climb.
for a clubbing audience, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because they knew that people were going out, getting absolutely woohoo, and just wanted the beats and wanted them now.
And then there was the brilliant JX, obviously.
Oh.
That's Nothing I Won't Do, which is just...
But do you know what?
There's nothing I won't do. Anything you want me to, I can't keep my hands off you. There's nothing I won't do, and so I don't know why. And no matter how hard I try, I can't wave my blues goodbye. There's nothing I won't do. Oh baby, I think of you, my heart is on the line. Oh baby,
That it was so, because obviously Son of a Gun was iconic. And then there was just the one single in between those, You Belong to Me was in between.
Yeah, that's right.
And that didn't do so well, but then they came back with Nothing I Won't Do, and it was it was
Yeah.
like a pop version of Son of a Gun, wasn't it? And everybody loved it. It was one of those tracks that was like solid gold.
Yeah.
It was the track
so
you pay
euphoric,
$3.99
so
for,
uplifting,
isn't
yeah.
it?
I did pay. I remember when that was on new release, it was $3.99 instead of $1.99. I thought, for goodness
It's
sake.
because they knew it was going to be massive, that's why.
But yeah, I was just... And then there was Amen UK, Passion.
That's really fast.
That
isn't
is
it?
really... that was... I remember Crescendo as well. Are you
Yeah.
right there?
Yes. That was quite strange. That
It
track.
was, but but again, that was how it was changing a bit. It was more housey, wasn't it? I suppose
It was just very kind of people just experimenting with different beats and different speeds.
Yeah,
I
it
suppose.
was. It was a bit of a mishmash in '96. There was no one.
Was that true of the
style,
rest
really.
of Europe? Do you think, or were they still very much on
I
the
think some of these
Eurodance?
hits were big in Europe as well.
Was
No, I think the whole of Europe was changing a bit by then. It wasn't just yeah, I think so.
But the UK, it's no secret, we are kind of pioneers of house music.
Yeah,
So
I would
it came
say
over
so.
from Chicago.
Yeah.
And then and there's fantastic documentaries out there. Please go and watch them, listeners. There's one on YouTube called Pump Up the Volume, which is amazing. But there's been others since then, and we took it and just started messing about with it and layering those dance frameworks into pop and into reggae and all these different musical influences to create. I mean, we created drum and bass. I mean,
Yeah.
some people might say that Goldie created it on his own. Massive DJ in the UK. If you don't know who Goldie is, and it was just people like messing about with different speeds on different machines, electronic music machines.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And the more, obviously, the drugs side of it took over, and people were doing drugs, and therefore they wanted the beats, and they wanted it to be, quicker. So there was lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, because that's when he kind of had his first hit, wasn't it? '96.
Goldie.
96? Oh no, Angel '95. But then it was kind of '95, '96, and then Inner City Life was
Inner
96.
City Life's the one I remember.
Yeah.
Fab. And that was when it kind of drum and bass went mainstream.
Yeah, it was.
But it was
96,
weird, the charts
yeah.
in this country, because you would have still had the Eurodance influence. You'd had a massive dance explosion, but credible dance. Because, Insomnia, Faithless, they were credible
Yeah, they
acts.
were. Yeah, definitely. Salvamere was great too.
But you also had Britpop and the kind of British invasion.
yeah,
Cool Britannia was
really,
96.
Yeah, it was. there was so much, and you also obviously you had, and obviously the Prodigy as well. It burst back onto the scene in May '96.
Yeah.
So you
Music
had
for
that
the Jilted
style of
Generation.
dance. Yeah. Oh no, was that '95?
I think that was 95.
Yeah, '96 was
End of 95 perhaps. But yeah, like I said, it just suddenly dance was getting very credible, and there were proper acts,
yeah, like Chemical
dance
Brothers
acts.
and stuff as
Yeah.
well, wasn't it? Yeah, no, they were. Yeah, it was becoming more. Yeah, it was becoming more credible rather than just that Euro ditty kind of sound.
Yeah, that tinny beat. It was now becoming had a bit more depth. Like Left Field.
And Left Field.
Yeah, it was. My sister would be able to talk about it much better.
And
than I
Portishead,
would.
if you would consider them.
Yeah, I
dance,
guess
yeah.
you would. Massive Attack.
Yeah.
They all were bubbling under, but I think probably 96 was when it all exploded. And it was probably off the back of something like Insomnia,
Yeah.
which was just, and will continue to be, one of the best dance tracks this country has ever produced.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, because that was huge all over Europe too. I mean, that was making the top 5 in places like Germany too. So it was very, very popular. And obviously you other ones I haven't mentioned yet: Live in Joy, Don't Stop Moving.
That was like a second birth for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because
Because
they kind of gone quiet since Dreamer, and then
it was
I
almost like
didn't think they would ever return. And I was like, oh, and then. Well, I knew a year later, because it was a year later that they came out with this. I wasn't expecting to see them again.
no, but a completely different singer with a completely different, fresh energy
Yeah.
to the group, and then they went on to release the album and
the
quite a few more
subsequent
singles.
Yeah,
and
they had
they had a
3
lot of
more.
money spent on them as well.
Yeah.
They went very Americanized, didn't they?
Because I didn't realise as well that Live in Joy, the same as Alex Party.
It's a difficult world and you got to prove it's ready and you can do it. Nothing in this world can stop you. I know I can, I will fulfill my dreams. Don't stop moving, keep it up, keep on moving, get it right. Yeah, you got to get it right. Oh, yeah, don't stop moving.
Same DJ.
Right, okay.
Or
I
2
didn't-
of them anyway, yeah.
I didn't know that either.
No, so yeah, something I found out this week. So something else I was surprised that they all kind of chop and change or go under different names, or you never know who's producing what.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had Gina G as well, who are just a little bit good old Motivate radio edit.
It's so great. I love that song, and I love it more now than I did at the time. At the time, I thought, no. Anything that goes into Eurovision, if it lost against a song that I like better, and that'll come up in a bit, then I have a personal vendetta against this song.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a gripe with Gina G, but actually, now I look back on it, it's a brilliant song. I love it.
Yeah, and it just wasn't. Yeah, it came about 2 or 3 years too early for Eurovision. I think that's the problem.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
the thing is, I think it got top 10 in Eurovision, didn't it?
yeah,
But it got to number 1 in this country.
but number 1,
which
yeah,
is
in the
unheard
UK.
of.
And number 12 in the US as well.
Wow.
Which is like, and it was even, did it win a Grammy? It was nominated for a Grammy at least. I know it was. And I'm just looking.
But that was a proper Motivate passion project, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Have you heard the album?
Yes, I had the album with the free poster.
With the free poster, but the imagery in the album was so random. Like it was, I think it was David LaChapelle.
I don't remember what.
Oh, she was covered in chocolate paint. Wasn't
Oh, I
she?
remember that. Yes, yeah.
It was just for somebody who was really a British Eurodance singer.
Yeah.
I mean, she was.
Yeah.
To have that much money spent on her and have that much focus, I just blew my mind a bit.
And then obviously you had a bit of hard house as well. Like, remember DJ Mazar and DJ Tim Access?
Yeah.
That was quite banging,
I
wasn't it?
can't remember how that goes.
No. like that one. Access.
Yeah. I think
I think it's
so,
one of
yeah.
the dance zones.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's on the red one.
Sorry, there's no. Ow.
I was thinking
I
of.
can't think of anything.
I was
else.
thinking of. Hondi, is it? Give me a
Hondi.
kiss, no excess.
No, I
Give
don't
me a
remember
flower, no excess. You've not heard that?
No, I don't think so.
Hondi, no.
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I really don't think I have.
That's
no.
a good tune, actually. I might choose that for my 97.
And then after Stretch and Burn, I'm Alive. Alison Limerick, Where Love Lives. The DJ Dancing Divas remix.
According to, I think it was either Mix Mag or DJ Mag or something, that is the best dance track ever released.
What, Alison Limerick?
Alison Limerick.
I know it's really popular, and I
It
like
is
the
really
remix
popular.
of '96, not so much the first version.
Why don't you take my hand, run away, come out of your groove? For everything you give, so will I give something to you. I'll take you down, deep down where the love lives, where love lives, where love lives. Follow me down, deep down where the love lives, where love lives, where love lives. Come on with me down, deep down.
But
The 96 one had a bit more oomph.
Yeah,
didn't
it did,
In
definitely.
fact, I think 96 was a bit of a remix year, wasn't it?
I think,
I
yeah.
think a lot of tracks were coming back with the 96 remix. I don't know why. Maybe it was because House was taking off.
Well,
and
yeah,
everyone
because you
was
did
jumping
have
on the
Stretch.
bandwagon.
You had, like I said, you had Stretch and Burn. That's sampled, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, no,
Sorry.
actually, tracks were coming back with the 96 remix attached to them.
Oh right, yeah.
So
yeah.
Felix, do you remember Felix?
Yeah,
Don't You Want Me?
Of course, yeah.
That was featured in an advert for Ribena or something, or Tango.
Yeah, it was.
And it was
yeah.
brought back. It was a 96 remix, and I loved that remix. Apart from the fact that at the end of the remix, he says, "I drink Tango,"
Oh, God,
and it's like not
no.
on a single.
I remember the remix, and I will always prefer the '92 version. I think for Felix.
Have you heard the 96 version?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
And it's still not.
no.
Okay. Oh, well,
It was
here we go.
harder, it was harder.
Yeah, it was harder, and it had just had a bit more spice. I thought. Let's have a listen to the '96 remix of Felix's "Don't You Want Me."
Don't you want my loving?
Lush, I do really like that. I like them both, but I don't know. Maybe I like that.
So usually, I
speed
usually
up.
prefer the harder, you know.
Yeah, yeah. See, look how the tables have turned.
I know they have, and I was me going for the '92 edit.
Anyone who just tuned in will be like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Right, okay. What else was I listening to in '96?
Oh, Underworld, Born Slippy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's
another,
it.
yeah, and like we were saying about credible British dance acts, that's another one.
Yeah.
Drive boy, dog boy, dirty on angel boy. In the doorway, boy, she was a lipstick boy. She was a beautiful boy, and tears boy, and all in your inner space, boy. You had handgirls, boy, and steels, boy. You had chemicals, boy. I've grown so close to you, boy, and you just grown, boy. She said, come over. She smiled at you.
Underworld I've listened to subsequently, and some of their stuff is really, really great. Some of it's a bit wayward, but for the most part, it's fantastic. They're really, really great. They know what the listener wants to
Overall,
hear.
though, I don't think I was ever as much of a fan as the British acts because I think they were too credible for me.
I
I just
know.
think they were. I think they were too. It became a bit too serious.
A lot of them came from like the Bristol scene, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe they're a bit more serious in Bristol. I don't know. I went to Bristol a couple of weeks ago. They were fun loving to me. But maybe there was something about that kind of scene. That
I think we just quite are serious about our music,
Yeah.
more so than on the continent. Well, we were back then anyway.
But to be fair, you and I, we weren't cool, were we? Like, we were rushing out to buy the CD single of Cher's Believe. For the you know.
Ow! I turned my back, sorry. Yeah, Cher's Believe.
Whereas you wouldn't catch a kind of a Faithless fan doing the same, would you?
No, but I was buying both. It's weird though. I was having a weird mix of purchases.
Yeah,
I don't know what it
mean,
was. I think some of them I didn't like that much, but I bought them because they were in the top 10 anyway.
Were there any novelty singles in 1996?
I can't think of any. Not anything on the Saturday night level. No.
I think you could probably say that Wannabe was a bit of a novelty song.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't a dancey song.
Oh, well, obviously, if you're looking to more pop stuff, then you had Macarena, Lost Del Rio.
Oh, and that was massive. That's one of the biggest selling songs ever.
Yeah, 14 weeks in America, #1.
But it was a great.
I loved it.
When I dance, they call me Macarena, and the boys they say que soy buena. They all want me, they can't have me, so they all come and dance beside me. Move with me, chant with me, and if you're good, I'll take you home with me.
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena.
It was a great remix. The Basement Boys.
Yeah, it was so much better than the original when they added the female vocals.
Yeah,
it was much better.
But where did they get the inspiration for that?
God
it
knows.
was so bizarre.
It was the video.
Yeah.
I was addicted to the video. It was on MTV Europe constantly.
I loved that girl with the really long braids.
Yeah.
And her hair done up. Like,
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
she just reached into the sky. She was so tall and beautiful. Loved it. Again, that would have been a $3.99 single. I think. I don't think.
No, I think it started off as $1.99 because it only got to 11 on the first week.
Oh, did it?
Kind of climbed into the rise because songs were still climbing in '96.
The thing is, I can listen to that now, and still I wouldn't mind doing the dance to it.
I like the dance.
But Tragedy, no.
Oh God, no! Don't even go there. It makes me feel sick, especially Steps' version. I can't bear it. I can't bear it. It's so depressing. It's just awful.
I preferred Heartbeat actually.
Oh, Heartbeat was much better.
The
Yeah,
Christmassy one,
yeah.
where they're all like walking around.
Bloody dance in the church. No.
Although their
Never.
new song, have you heard the new song?
Yeah, bits of it. Yeah, it's not too
It's good.
bad.
Well, it's written by Sia, so.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. I was listening. Somebody posted it or shared it this morning, and yeah, it's not too bad. You had Robert Miles, obviously. He was huge in '96. Just exploded onto the scene.
Was Children 96 or was that earlier?
Yeah, '96 February '96.
Right. And then he did that amazing track with Maria Naylor. Was that the same year?
Yes, 1 and 1. That's my favourite.
It's so brilliant. She looks the same as she did back in the day.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
She was on the Sasha song of that year as well, Be As One.
Yeah,
Remember Sasha
I love
Maria?
that tune. Yeah.
That's one of my.
She's got a very distinct voice, isn't she?
Yeah.
Let's have a quick listen to that. This is 1 and 1 by Robert Miles and Maria Naylor.
Sometimes I am not always you, and you are not always mine. It's alright to fall apart sometimes. After all is said and done, 1 and 1 still is 1. When we cry, when we laugh, I am happy.
Oh, fab.
And of course, you had Fable in between those two as well, which
wasn't so great. I tend to like the second single because it usually is probably, especially if the first single is so iconic, you know they're going to just do the format all over again for the second single. So usually I'm more of a fan of the second single because it's not so overplayed. So, but I just don't think Fable had the.
It tried to be kind of like children, and it just wasn't as. Just didn't do it.
Which is why it was a genius masterstroke to then do a song with a singer.
Yeah, because I didn't know where he was going to go after Fable.
No.
And, like, if they could do anything as good again as Children. But this was better than Children for me.
And I love it. Oh, yeah, me too. Even though I absolutely adore Children, you wouldn't dance to it, would you? But you could probably dance to One and One.
Yeah.
But when I went to, and if we ever get out of this pandemic, I went to a classical Ibiza thing in Worcestershire, and they did a tribute to Robert Miles, and they did Children, and oh my goodness, it was so emotional, because obviously it was a 12-piece orchestra or whatever it was, just doing that, doing it as a classical piece. It was beautiful, and that tune Children is iconic, and the video is terrible. But I love the video.
Yeah.
I love the video of One and One, when he's playing that piano and it's like see-through.
Yeah.
You can see his fingers on the keys. That's really cool.
I know. I do remember thinking it was odd, the video for Children, but I did quite like it.
Okay, shall we get on to our tracks then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
good.
there they are. Can you just pass me that one on the top?
This.
Yeah. Tap. Let's go for Amber. This is your night. Let's have a quick listen.
This is your night, dancing free until the morning light. Together forever, 'cause this is your night, and everything is gonna be alright. Oh yeah, so in love with you. Oh yeah, it's too good to be true. Oh yeah, feeling so brand new. Oh yeah.
I liked it because I think it's got a pop sensibility about it. I do think it sounded a bit like Fun Factory's Take Your Chance, is it?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. This is your night.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I never thought about it before.
Or maybe I am singing that. Listen to them side by side.
Tell you what it does remind me of Real McCoy's Another Night.
Yeah,
Bum,
that too.
Bum, 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 bum. That's the song I got from it.
I tell you what else it is exactly the same as, and I don't know whether it came before or after it. It's Beautiful Life by Ace of Base.
Yeah, I think Amber probably came just up. Oh, I don't know. Around
Yeah.
very similar time. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I'm in love with you. Oh yeah, is that
Amber,
song?
yeah.
Yeah, that I love that bit. That's nice because that. Did your night? Oh, how does the beginning go? This is your night.
This is your night. It is a bit like Fun Factory, actually. This is your night. Dancing free for the morning light. I don't know the words I'm making.
But, yeah. I liked it, and the video production has obviously stepped up. It's got that like American sheen about it.
Yeah, because she was bigger in the US, because she's Dutch, you see, and she was bigger. And I was actually looking again over the chart positions, and I think she was made a bit of an impact on the US charts.
I think one of her songs was in Sex and the City.
Probably. I'm not sure. I've never
something like
watched.
I Can See Happiness from Here. Is that her?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe I got that wrong. I better
Possibly
look that up.
though.
But I liked it. It was an inoffensive pop song. I think it's probably because it's got that kind of
Oh, that's probably why I did well in the US as well.
which is like Another Night.
Yeah.
It's also a bit like Beautiful Life, but I like that kind of, I don't know, is it a synth? It's like a
I
great
don't know what.
synth, isn't it? But it was fine. I think I probably, with just a bit of an injection of soaring vocals, it could be Another Night.
Yeah.
That as good as.
Yeah.
But it was just flew under the radar for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Can't all like the same thing, can we now? Life would be boring.
But to be fair, you did say that 96 was a difficult year for you.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, it was fine, yeah. To find Eurodance.
So maybe you were up against 95 or 94. You've picked the best of a bad bunch.
No, I think so. I was trying to find something that still sounded quite Eurodance, I think, for 96, and it was harder.
So what do you want to go with for me?
Well, Carol Bailey, I can't make you love me.
Oh, okay, let's listen to a bit of the genius I Can't Make You Love Me.
Keep it in your open mind. I can make you love me the way I do. I can make you love me like I always do. I can make you love me the way I do. I can make you love me like I always do. Oh, yeah.
Okay, what did you think?
Well, when it first started, I thought it was going to be like a novelty record.
Okay.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. It sounded a bit novelty, but then it didn't. But once it got going, I actually, and it's definitely one of those songs that grows, because after a couple of listens, I was finding it much better. And by the end of the track, the first time I listened, it definitely got better. But it really reminds me of Alex Party's Wrap Me Up.
Right. Well, she worked a lot with Alex Party.
Yeah, and I realised I was listening to the Alex Party radio edit, so no wonder it sounded like them. Trust me to realise later.
Oh dear.
But no, it wasn't. But it really did remind me of Wrap Me Up. Not so much the other ones, but Wrap Me Up.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like Wrap Me Up.
And
I don't know why I like it.
it's one of those songs that grows, and I think if it had been released here as well, and if it had been in the charts for a few weeks, I'd have been addicted to it.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's a bit like that Carol Medina track from 1994. Yeah. It's like, it's just a really good pop song with the dance bits and bobs, the bells and whistles.
And
I love
it. Feels.
But I love, and I don't know what it is about Alex Party, but I love them. There's something about the way that they approach, and that's probably why I love Living Joy as well, if you say that they're all the same.
Yeah.
But I felt with Alex Party, there was something about it. It was just...
A lot of the Italian acts really do it well, don't they? They really hit the spot.
She's Italian, Carol Bailey.
Yeah.
I don't think she's the best singer in the world.
It's difficult to tell from like the studio versions, isn't it?
I've listened to it so many times that it just sounds natural to me. But when I've played it to Stuart, he's like, "Oh, is this the one where that woman can't sing?" Which is a bit unfair. But also, she went on tour with U69, U96.
She did, yeah, she did, and she sang some of their songs
to help them promote Club Bizarre. So no wonder I love her. She also did another song with. I want to say Voodoo something, and it was called The Spirit of Life, and that was probably about 94 or maybe even 93, but that's quite a good one as well. But the one that she had major success with here was Feel It.
Yeah, I was going to say Feel It, because when it mentioned it down here, I do now, but I didn't before, but I listened to it after reading that on the synopsis, and I think Feel It's really good, actually.
Yeah,
I probably prefer it to the one I've reviewed.
Oh, I know. I just love it. I love it. On a Friday, I'll crank it up and Friday's come, you know. I think it's just such a great tune. Totally right up my street. But I think with a better singer, it could be even better. And she is gorgeous. Have you ever seen her?
I have seen a picture of her.
Oh, she's beautiful. Look, watch the video of I Can't Make You Love Me. She's absolute model-esque. She's gorgeous. Right, next one for you is Master Boy, Land of Dreaming.
You thought you'd seen the last. He's come back for 96.
Let's have a listen. So the backing drums, again, it's The Sign by Ace of Base, isn't it? It's that.
I'm trying to think. Sorry, no. Yeah.
So if you listen to it.
I will.
It's very much that drum beat out of Ace of Base, the sign, which makes me think that perhaps Ace of Base kind of set.
I think they did,
and then everyone was in the same way that Max did a bit earlier on.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this earlier. Because obviously, the likes of DJ Bobo and Ace of Base were doing that Euro reggae pop sound before '96. A lot of the acts seemed to jump on that bandwagon in '96.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
people just
Ace of
wanted a
Base
piece of the
definitely
pie.
were definitely an influence.
They just wanted a piece of the pie, didn't they?
Yeah.
They didn't want Ace of Base to.
Because that Eurodance sign was dying out. They were
Yeah.
trying to grab onto something.
And Ace of Base were a band. Like they didn't feel like a Eurodance act. They
No,
felt
'cause
like
they
a
were-
music, that would a music act that would try out different styles, but
Yeah.
that has been influenced by dance music, because I Always Have, Always Will was a major shifting sign for them. And it's still a really good tune. I actually did like this song. I think the vocals, they're much more than the rap. The
Yeah.
rap is pretty bad because the lyrics are terrible. But the video production is up, and it's much better than what was the other one?
Feel the heat of the night.
Feel the Heat of the Night.
Everything's alright.
Yeah.
Sorry. My second rendition of that now. One was enough.
So why did they go? Did they carry on with this kind of sound from this point
Well,
on?
actually, they released a song later that year. I think it was Colours of Your Life or something, or Colour of something, and then it went a bit Eurodancey again. But then it was almost like they were right at the end of their Eurodance days. Then it was
Right.
like they were really numbered. Wasn't as good, but they tried to go a bit more up tempo as well. They kept with that style too, but it wasn't. Wasn't as good.
I do prefer this style. I just think it's a bit like, like fast fashion. When you walk into a high street store and it's just like all the same t-shirt in different colours. I feel a bit like that about their songs.
Yeah,
I feel like it's just kind of cheaply made, easy to kind of produce, and then not a lot of heart and soul goes into it. Is that unfair?
I don't think it's hard. I haven't thought about it that deeply,
if you think about the Heat of the Night, if we put that into Eurovision, it wouldn't get anywhere.
No, but
it just
people
doesn't-
like that weren't doing stuff like that, were they?
No.
Eurovision.
I'm just thinking, in terms of a song, it's not. It's
more of a
very
sound. It's a
platform.
sound, isn't it? More than
Right.
a song, I suppose. Master Boy.
But-
More of a melody. It's all about the beat and the melody rather than the lyrics, isn't it?
Well, I think even the lyrics, the melody, their fate.
Oh, I quite like them.
So, no, but if you think
Oh,
about
God.
Ace of Base, there's a clear distinction between the different songs, and
No,
they're
there
all like
is.
sing along.
I know what you mean.
And they have kind of rise and fall and interesting chord structures. But Master Boy's it is what it is. There's nothing. There's no soaring highs and there's no crashing lows. It's just very
Flatline.
No, yeah, yeah.
very linear.
I mean, I don't want to be mean about Master Boy because I don't. I'm sure they're lovely, lovely people, and they've got shed loads of fans.
I think
out there.
I'm just quite easily pleased, whereas you look into these things more.
But then,
I don't know.
well, maybe, but then I come from a kind of pop background, don't I? And I'm a writer, so I
Exactly. So
I'm looking for something that isn't there.
You're probably deeper than I am. I think I'm
Deeper.
rather shallow.
Oh, don't be so silly. Right. Okay, but I did like it, and I probably would listen to it again if I was desperate. Right.
Oh dear.
Maybe 96 is the year that we separated.
Definitely.
Okay, next up for me then.
Oh, Evoke. The Arms of you've picked some really good tunes this
Have
time
I?
for 96.
I
Yeah,
told you it was
love
my
Arms of
year.
Europe.
I know it's a good tune, isn't it?
And I love both versions equally as well,
Well,
which is very unusual.
Which one should we play for the listeners?
I think the Steinway mix.
The Steinway. Okay, here we go. Steinway mix of Evoke and Arms of the Red.
Why can't we be together as we were back then? How long before forever in the arms of the rain? In the arms
Okay, so which one are you going to review? Are you going to review them both?
I meant the nip and tuck edit there, sorry. No, but there was the nip and tuck edit, which was kind of the more radio... the version they played on the radio, like on the charts, but all the radio. If we've ever heard that song since then, there's always been the Steinway mix on like the Ministry of Sound albums.
The Steinway mix is much more radio friendly, I would have thought.
Yeah, I know.
It's more of a song, isn't it?
It's more upbeat. It's more.
The nip and tuck version is kind of it almost like ethereal. It's like a bit trancey.
Yeah, well, I put Fast and Furious and a strange undercurrent of unease and sadness.
Oh, and you said that you weren't deep.
Not really, but if you compare it, if you've got something else to compare it to, like the Steinway, like the Steinway mix,
it's mysterious, isn't it?
It is mysterious and quite sad, and like something awful's happening.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Intense.
Have you seen the video?
Not for a long time.
Well, watch it. I think probably the sadness that you're honing in on is the wigs that they're wearing in the video.
The wigs?
They're so bad. That's probably the undercurrent sadness.
Oh gosh, no, I've seen pictures of it, yeah.
But they were two stage school girls. I mean, they came out of stage school. One of them went into EastEnders. I remember her in
Lydia,
EastEnders.
so do I. She went out with Steve, didn't she?
Yes, she did. And then did you ever hear Runaway, their other track?
Yes, I had it on single, yeah.
I've got that on single, found it in the charity shop.
Did you?
I think I found Arms and Lorraine in the charity shop as well.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm in there.
But it was a dead ringer for Set You Free and Trials, wasn't it? Runaway, Evoke. They were exactly the same.
I need to listen to it again.
Yeah.
But Arms and Lorraine was their biggest hit.
Yeah. And it was on so many compilations after that.
It was, but I don't remember it being actually in the charts. Did they ever play it on the radio?
Well, yeah.
Did you play it on MTV Europe?
Didn't it? And then it went out, but it didn't. I don't ever remember seeing the video on an MTV. No, never.
Oh, watch the video. It's a beaut.
Because I know the record company expected it to be a big hit, the next big thing. But it just didn't, and that's when they didn't really have anything after that.
Again, I mean, I'd say this as much about Evoke as I would about Master Boy. It wasn't. For me, it's a nostalgia thing. I think if you were to play that to somebody who didn't know it, they'd be like, huh?
Yeah,
there's much better out there. Why would you concentrate on this?
Yeah, it's not exactly memorable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
memorable,
not memorable,
really.
no. But it's mysterious. Like the Arms of Lorraine. What does that mean? Who is she? What are the wigs all about? You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Lump it all together, and you've got yourself a bit of a mystery going.
It is mysterious,
and also people would have spent money on it, and the video is. I mean, apart from the wigs, I mean, it's quite high quality, so they would have spent money on it. So why didn't it work?
I don't know. They really were expecting it to be big. I know that.
Maybe Lydia from EastEnders singing a pop song just didn't float everybody's boat.
But then, like you said, though, it's not the kind of song that you would think was going to be massive, though. Really.
Well, have a listen, listeners. We've played you the Steinway mix, but go and have a listen to the Nip and Tuck remix and see what you think. Arms of Lorraine. You can find it actually on our playlists, because we make playlists. You can find No Limit Podcast playlist on Apple Music and on Spotify if that's your thing. And you can go and have a listen to them there. Right, next up for you is Too Unlimited, Jump for Joy.
And just when you thought you saw the last of them too.
They're back. 96 version. Here it is.
Jump for joy, jump for joy. Jump for joy, jump for joy.
Everybody jump, jump. Jump for joy. Everybody jump, jump. Everybody jump, jump.
Okay. I think it's fairly by numbers, this one. It's definitely not their best. But it's definitely not their worst.
No, maybe they were struggling now.
I think again,
maybe they were running. It
how
appeared they
long
were running out of
after?
ideas.
How long? Yeah, I think they were. How long after this did they stop?
Only a few months after.
Right.
Because it wasn't officially their last single, but it was the last one that made any impact on any charts.
Out of all of these, though, it's the one that I remember. Like, I can still sing it in my head. Whereas
What,
I couldn't
Jump for Joy?
Yeah. I want to scream.
Oh, you do remember it? Oh, God, I didn't think
Yeah.
anyone did, really. Ah.
But the others, I'm struggling to remember. I can't remember how Land of Dreaming goes, even though I've listened to it like 3 times today. But to Jump for Joy, I can remember. So it's obviously...
Well, I think you're sorry. I think you meant remember from all that
Oh,
time.
no,
back
I
then.
can't remember it at all
No,
being
I was gonna
released.
say.
It's kind of got that Euro rave style as well.
Yeah.
A bit like the Sugar Babies.
Yes.
Magic in you.
And that's why it was still quite big in Holland. It still reached the top 5 in Holland.
Maybe they didn't need... Maybe I am being a bit harsh on people like Master Boy, because maybe they didn't need that kind of depth because they had a fan base in other countries.
Yeah.
Maybe in this country we're such a hodgepodge of different music from different countries and different styles, and we're producing so much of our own. Maybe you really have to break through that white noise. But in other countries, they're a bit more
Easily.
just a bit slower paced.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, we produce, and if you look at Spotify British charts every week, the releases that come out, of this country alone every Friday.
Yeah,
we're creating music all the time in this country.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not the same in the European countries. So they give songs that time to climb up the charts rather than, if you're not number 1, you're a failure, mate.
Yeah. It is a bit like that. It is very much
well.
like that here.
And also, you never really know what they're so excited about.
Oh, sure. No, they
They
it
don't
doesn't
explain
seem,
it at all.
It's fast paced, and it doesn't seem a particularly happy tune though. Even though they're singing "Jump for Joy," really.
It's just, again, it's a melody and they shoehorn lyrics into it.
Yeah, and I think that this.
And at one point, Ray does say, "I thank my mother for my birth."
Oh no!
Come
that was
on,
a new
Ray.
low for
We expect better, Ray. Come on.
And I think, and I know there were a lot of internal conflict around this time, and that's why they split up shortly afterwards. So.
I love her though. I follow her on Facebook, and she's just looks as gorgeous today as she did back then. And well, we all know what I think about Ray. Gorgeous. So yeah, liked it. There was nothing particularly. I wasn't jumping for joy.
No.
If I was going to be a reviewer in Heat magazine, didn't make me jump for joy, love.
And then they never even got a proper release here, which is a bit sad about.
Oh well.
It was on the greatest hits, though. That's why, probably. Yeah. And shall I move on to your next?
Yeah, please
release?
do.
Layla and Find Love.
So we talked about Gina G earlier. This was up against her, wasn't it? In the
Song
Making
for
Your
Europe.
Mind Up or whatever it was.
Song for Europe.
Song for Europe. So Layla was singing I think she was number 1 on the night. She was the first one to sing it. I remember it. And Gina G was like number 3 on the night, but Gina G won. And here's a bit of it.
I've gotta find love. Gotta find sweet and precious love. Gotta find love. Baby, if you're out there somewhere, I've gotta find love. Standing at the crossroads, don't know where to go. Is it this way? Is it that way? It's so hard for me to know. There's a needle in a haystack, just waiting to be.
So that's Layla, Find Love. It was actually released in 95, but I've chosen it for 96 because it was on the Eurovision.
Yes. The same. Talking of that, wasn't it disqualified though in the end from the Song
Is
for
that what it
Europe?
was? I was just
Is that why they
thinking-
finished? Because obviously they must have finished 4th because they announced the top 3, but not that which wasn't. But Layla wasn't in the top 3, so I'm just wondering whether they found out on the night or something.
I think maybe they did because you can only release it to the public, and I know because I did it and I got disqualified. You can only release it like in September before,
Yeah, it can be.
and I think
yeah,
she'd released it earlier, maybe.
possibly. I heard something about it being disqualified, but then when I looked on Wikipedia, I couldn't find anything about that.
But then it got a proper release, which again is unheard of.
yeah.
I found it on a Deconstruction album.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was online. I thought I'd never hear it again. Because I used to have a little CD that they gave away free with your hour price purchases, with the top or the like half a second of each of the songs, or a minute or whatever.
Yeah.
And this was on there, and I used to listen to that minute over and over and over again. So I never actually heard the whole song. And then I found it like maybe a year, 2 years ago.
It was
on Spotify.
great though. I really like it, and it was my second favourite in that final. Definitely. I wanted G2G to win at the time because I thought it would be good for Eurovision, which wasn't that good for Eurovision. But no, I loved the fusion of the drum and bass and the reggae and the pop, and it interests me though to see how it would have been transferred to the stage in Oslo with the orchestra, because even though just a little bit, they mainly used the backing track on the Eurovision night. There were some instruments.
Well, they didn't
in
spend
there.
money on the dresses, did they?
No, no, dreadful.
They came in a pack of 5 from Peacocks.
Yeah. I'm not sure how it would have worked, but it would have been even
One
more.
in every colour.
One in every colour. It would have been even more out of place than Ooh Ah, I think, on that stage.
I don't think it would have rocked it.
No.
It just, they've never done, I don't think, well, they probably have, but I can't remember a time when they've done drum and bass. I mean, it's drum and bass light, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it might, but I'm surprised if it didn't get disqualified. I'm surprised that it didn't get higher, because I think this is
What
brilliant tune.
makes me think it probably was, because I'm sure it would have come third at least.
There's nothing online about it at all. I tried to look up something about Layla, but I have got in touch with her on Facebook, so maybe Layla will come back to us and give
I've read
us
it
the full
somewhere,
story.
and I'm not sure unless it's been removed from Wikipedia. And maybe it was on some video comments. Maybe it was on some comments after the video
It
on
could have
YouTube.
been, yeah.
It may have been, but
It
I
is
don't quote me. It's
fantastic.
not. I can't be 100% sure of that. So
Layla, get in touch, let us know. So that was Layla's Find Love. Next up for you is Pray by DJ Bobo. Here it is.
We can make it a better place when we pray for freedom. It doesn't matter what kind of race when we pray for freedom. So let's live for the promised land, living in harmony. So let's live with a helping hand, dreams of a new generation, and we pray.
Fine. Actually, I listened to it again today and I preferred it today than when I listened to it the other day. I do think it's a bit like It's Raining Again. And I want to do you know what? I want to just say apologies for 1995 when I was so mean about It's Raining Again, because I never stop singing it. It's got in under my skin. Loft.
Do you play
It's
it?
Raining Again. Yeah.
Do you?
It's a good tune. I still think it needs a bit of oomph. I still feel like the performance is a bit phoned in, but I love the tune. So damn you, Ben.
Yeah, mate.
You get yeah.
Still infecting you after 22.
Who knows? Maybe my birthday next year I'll get a 50p single if It's Raining Again for a
Or
charity.
the Loft album, even better.
So remind me how it goes.
Oh,
I
what?
wanna pray. I wanna. Oh no, let's jump for joy.
Right. I can't think now. I wasn't expecting you to ask me. Hang on.
Oh,
a
it's
sec.
alright.
Right.
Well,
And we
yeah.
pray for freedom.
I mean, it's fine. I think this whole idea of let's leave for the promised land and pray for Jesus, it's a little bit like, really? Is that really what you're saying? It was all a bit cheesy.
Yeah.
And also, have you seen the video?
Oh, yeah, once.
It makes me slightly scared of what constituted a stadium tour in 1996.
He went full out on his stadiums. His stage.
But it looked
stage.
dreadful. Have you seen it? It's like plastic pyramids and
Oh,
him
really?
and two other dancers. And he looks like a painter and decorator.
I know.
And he's like getting, there's shots of him like getting like harnessed up so that he can drop from the ceiling. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
It's like Krampus.
He did go full out on his stage shows. They were so popular though.
I know. It
It's
does make me
crazy.
nervous when you look at stadium tours now, and you just think,
But that
"Jeez."
probably would work everywhere apart from the UK.
Yeah, it probably would have cost about, the tickets would have cost about 15 quid though, wouldn't they?
I'm not
Back
sure.
then.
Back then, yeah.
15 guilders.
Oh, Swiss francs.
I don't know if it has any real direction lyrically. It's
No.
just, again, it's that kind of, we'll write the melody first, then we'll think about a possible theme, and then we'll just put words that rhyme.
Pray for help and healing and something.
And being hoisted from the ceiling. Yeah. It was fine.
Oh gosh.
Next up for me
is Strike, an inspiration.
Now, we forgot to tell you who our super guest is for the 1996 episode, and it is the wonderful Victoria Newton from Strike. So before we play this amazing track, here's the interview I had with Victoria this week on what it was like to be an absolute massive Eurodance star. Enjoy.
You sure do. Come on, baby.
I'm here with the fabulous, and I did Facebook Victoria earlier in the week and said the 15-year-old me is screaming right now. Such a fan of this lady
so
and
gorgeous.
her work. So I'm speaking to the wonderful Victoria Newton from Strike.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It's so great to be here.
How are you doing?
Very well. I'm extremely well. Very excited. Oh, I can see Scary Spice there on a cushion in the background.
Absolutely. Well, I am.
Doing her famous pose.
I'm such a Spice
I'm
fan.
always jealous of that.
Such a 90s fan. I mean, I've been literally scrambling around in the bottom of I've got all my CD singles. I've kept them all. I've got every single one that Strike ever released.
Fantastic.
But I do have...
Wow, what a legend.
I did have My Love Is For Real on tape because at the time I couldn't quite scrape the money together to get the CD.
Oh, bless you. Oh, my goodness.
So how are you feeling
Do you know
in
what? I think
in these crazy times? Because obviously you're you're on the other side of the world.
Yes. Look, where I'm living at the moment is probably one of the best places to be because it's one of the most isolated cities in the world, and the local government or the state government have put such strict rules in place. They've had a hard border for about the last 6 months or so. So no one has been able to get in here without quarantining for at least 2 weeks. So the border is just about to be lifted, I think, in about 2 weeks. And everyone's getting a little bit nervous about that because you must have heard about Melbourne. Melbourne was in a terrible situation. They went into lockdown again, and there were lots of cases. There was a resurgence of COVID it was terrible in Victoria, but also in New South Wales, and I think Queensland was being affected. But we've been really, after that first lockdown, things really improved for us. We've been living virtually back to normal since about June, July.
Okay. Oh, well, that's great
so,
news. You're back to work because I know that are you a full-time musician?
I am actually 80% full-time. I may as well be full-time because it's the amount of work that it takes. It's like full-time,
yes,
but
absolutely.
yeah, I try not to go into work on Fridays. But yeah, I'm back. I've been back at work. I was actually on long service leave. I was supposed to come back to the UK at the end of April. I was supposed to go to Ibiza
Yes.
to You Sure Do at Eden nightclub there, and
Victoria.
joining with the whole rave thing, and then it was all completely canned. So, you know, but look, obviously millions of people have been in the same situation, and you know, kind of, I mean, it's been so horrendous, and it's just been awful seeing the things that have been happening and how it's affected, you know, countries, and so many people have died, and it's been awful. But you know, I think just being forced to kind of stay here and just make the most of what's going on here, and making sure, you know, my family's okay and my mum's okay and stuff like that has actually been quite good.
You mentioned the UK. Do you think of the UK as your second home? Because obviously you were here whilst you were with Strike.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's a strange thing to say, and I probably sound like I've been quite disloyal to Australia, but I actually still think of it as my first home.
Right.
I still miss it so much. And whenever I go back there, I feel, you know, when I sort of stay there, the longer I stay there, I just feel really I'm at home again, and I feel like it's very hard to sort of drag myself away from there. But you know, realistically, it's my second home because this is my home now. But never say never. I may very well come back one day. Probably not in the near future while my mum's still alive. But yeah, I had some of the greatest days of my life in the UK, and you know, touring around with Strike, and yeah.
So tell us about Strike. How did it all start? Because we obviously, myself and Ben, who's not here today, but is so gutted not to be here today, because he'd love to meet you. And indeed, I've had other people who are really jealous because I'm meeting you. I know, they're all champing at the bit to speak to you, Victoria. I'm very lucky to get you when I did. So what was the Strike story? How did it all come about?
Well, it was a bit of a manifestation of, you know, a few things kind of coming together. I met the people from Fresh Records. I actually did a couple of sessions there with an old boyfriend of mine. In fact, that was my first sort of, I think this is the right word, foray into dance music, because I was very much a live musician, you know, having been into jazz and, you know, being a student, and then, you know, doing gigs, and then coming to the UK. And I met this guy, and he said, oh, you know, I've written these tracks and they're electronic. Do you feel like you'd like to help me write some lyrics and sing? And so I got together and did that with him. And then we went into Fresh Studios, and they, you know, I really connected with them, and they liked what I was doing vocally, and invited me to come back and sing on a couple of other tracks. The first one being, I think it was a Formula One track.
Yeah.
And that Dave and Vicky had actually, from Fresh Records, had actually written. And then the second track was, in fact, You Sure Do. Would you believe?
The track that
just
changed
came in
your
and did
life.
it. Absolutely. So it was really done as a session. And I know, you know, Matt and Andy's introduction to Fresh Records was obviously totally separate to mine. And I think they came in to record or collaborate with Fresh doing something. And then they sort of, Fresh brought us together, and I recorded the vocals for the track, and then went off and did my own thing, and didn't really think much more about it. I actually, and then what I heard, my brain is going in all directions.
No, that's fine.
They said, look, that it was actually towards the end of the year, and it must have been 1994. They said, look, we think this track is going to be quite big. Would you like to come and do the PAs for it? And do you know what I thought? I I actually wasn't too keen because I'd done a couple of PAs for another act, and I really, really didn't like it. I didn't like that experience. It was so different to anything I'd known before. But I thought, yep, I'll do it, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Did you know?
It's
I mean,
very-
you said that they kind of anticipated that the track was going to be big, and I suppose you can
Yeah.
never tell. But when you were singing, because it is a sample, isn't it? It's a sample from
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, and
the chorus is a sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna Allen. Serious.
but then it is a full song, really, isn't it? Not so much as some of the later tracks, which were properly properly orchestrated electronic ballads and tracks. But did you anticipate at any point this is going to be? I mean, Victoria, you stick the radio on any Friday night in the UK, and You Sure Do will be on at least 4 of them. It's on heavy rotation in the UK, and especially because we're so excited about 90s nostalgia at the moment. I promise you, on any dance show in the UK, You Sure Do is probably one of the top 3 that they are continuously playing. We feel like it's our dance anthem in the UK.
Oh, how wonderful! That you've absolutely made my night. I had no idea. Look, people often say to me here, oh, I heard your track the other day, and I'm certainly aware that it's still being played fairly regularly, but I didn't realise it was being played that regularly on several radio stations in the UK. So that is so great to hear. And it actually look, I feel just so incredibly lucky that I was a part of that, because it certainly was, I was a part of it. It wasn't really my creation, but it is such a feel-good track, and people, I've just seen it so many times, in audiences, or in doing PAs, or just in a sort of, the energy start to lift in a at a venue or a shop or whatever when it comes on. So
whenever it's on in a pub or a club, people just rush into the dance floor. Everybody knows the top line of that song.
Yeah.
And that's you. You've left the legacy on the UK, and it's here forever. So we're happy that you call us your honorary first home. You're our 90s superstar darling. So there was obviously You Sure Do was a massive success, and then the second single. I remember the second single coming out, and I was so pleased, because I hope you don't take this in the wrong way, but You Sure Do kind of had a bit of a one-hit dance wonder written all over it, a very classic one. Yeah. But I was so pleased that you were bringing out another one, because I thought now we're gonna actually hear Strike's sound. I remember not being disappointed. I loved Free at Last. In fact, I've been singing it all day, or the morning after it's called, isn't it?
Really?
But it was quite a departure. I mean, they kept the sound, they kept that kind of harsh Eurodance beat, but the song was much more of a pop song. Did you have a hand in the writing of it?
Not really. No, I didn't really have a hand in much of the writing until the album came along, and the album sort of went in another direction again, because I think the boys, the producers, Matt and Andy, who were 2 19-year-olds who literally were making dance tracks in their bedroom, and I think it was a bit of a shock for them when You Sure Do crossed over into the mainstream charts, because they basically wanted to make a track that was huge in the, went really brilliantly in the underground, in underground clubs, but, they didn't really anticipate that it would have such commercial success. So I think they sort of gradually wanted to veer away from that. But with Free at Last, I mean, from what I remember, I think the idea sort of came from the record company. They wanted to kind of recreate the sort of the poppier end of You Sure Do. And yes, I'm not too sure if the boys were actually super keen on that, but we just tried to sort of, I guess they wanted to come up with something that had a strong hook that sort of led off from You Sure Do, but I don't think it kind of had that, it quite had the same, obviously had the same impact as
I
You
mean,
Sure Do did.
yeah, I mean that was kind of evident, I suppose, in the charts. But actually, I You Sure Do is so much part of me now. You know how those tracks sometimes that you grew up with, you dance to, you still love, they just become part of you. They're part of your fabric. So You Sure Do is part of my fabric now. So it's non-negotiable. But with Free at Last, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I was watching the video earlier of you know, I mean the video of You Sure Do is iconic, with you in the silver dress that you know, very 90s.
And a stretched film, darling. The stretched film, it's meant to look so skinny.
Do you ever look?
Which I wasn't, and I'm not.
Did you ever watch
and
those?
taller?
Yeah, you look super tall. You look.
I wish. I
Honestly,
really do.
supermodel.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Do you watch those? Do you watch those videos back and think, oh my goodness? Do you have a?
I do.
How do you feel when you watch them back?
I just feel so excited that I could do that. You know, I could do that I had that opportunity, and it was just so much fun at the time. And I remember the day so well when we made that video. I remember being in makeup all day and looking like catching the tube home, looking like, you know, I just looked
Cyberdog.
like I'd been.
It was like you'd been in Cyberdog all afternoon.
Oh my God. People were staring, but you know, I didn't care. I did not want to take the makeup off. It probably actually would have looked a lot worse if I'd taken it off before I caught the tube. But yeah, I remember the day so well. It went on all day. It was pretty tiring, but I just remember just having so much energy all day because I was so excited.
Was there a lot of money spent on the video? I mean, we can't really equate it now because we look at it and compared to today's with CGI and everything else, they're very, very different beasts. But, you know, did you have things on set? Did you have champagne on set? Did you have a changing room, a dressing room, hair and makeup and all that?
Oh, I had hair and makeup, darling.
Good,
I mean, that goes without saying. And the false eyelashes, oh my God, now that, you know, they sort of have the permanent ones. But yes, it was so exciting. It was so glamorous. And, you know, I had one of my beautiful friends who was one of the backing vocalists and the other backing vocals. I still remember all the names. It was Malia, Love was the other backing singer, and the dancer called Chloe. I can't remember the guy who did You Sure Do. I can't remember his name. Hoyley, that was it. And of course, Matt and Andy. Look, it was a very low budget video compared to what else was out there. I think at the time it was probably about £10,000, which is still a lot of money, but you know, for videos back then, it was quite low budget. But it was a good video for that particular track. It didn't need to be.
It was perfect.
You know, hugely sophisticated and high tech and everything. But yeah, it wasn't. You know, I think we did have champagne on set, sort of towards the end of the day. Of course.
Now, my favourite track of yours, which is one I've chosen for this particular year, is Inspiration. And I think your vocal, coupled with that amazingly layered EDM, really, I mean, but it's beautiful, it's ethereal. I just used to sit back and listen to it and just be taken to another place. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. And it kind of keeps the essence of You Sure Do, but it's a ballad feel. And there's a wonderful video where you're dressed in kind of aqua blues and you're wandering around in an abandoned swimming pool. I love that song. I listen to it at least twice a month, at least, still.
Oh, wow. How fabulous. Because, you know, I think I think after the success of You Should, I think Stripe were, you know, we were sort of known as a one-hit wonder. I mean, even though all the subsequent singles all went into the top 40, you know, they weren't really considered as hits as such. But, you know, yeah, I think it was just because of that sort of big kind of sample of You Sure Do. But I mean, I really liked Inspiration as well. There was something very creative about it, and a very
gorgeous,
and something quite different. Something, that really sort of departed from that, you know, banging kind of, that more banging sort of house tune. And I really enjoyed doing it. Although that vocal was quite hard to do.
Very high.
And it was it was very high, and it's not the way I normally sing. So when it came to doing something like that live, I was really, really nervous about it. But Matt and Andy were very, very specific about what they wanted. They wanted to go for that the same sort of vibe as you know, that
Kirsty
that track.
Hackshaw.
Opus 3, yes, exactly. That's the sort of sound, excuse me, that wasn't a great demonstration, but that's the sort of sound that they wanted to go for. And I think they did a thing in the studio called time stretching, to sort of make it sound like that, almost like slightly, very ethereal and slightly chipmunky. So yeah, it was a very, very specific sound that they wanted to go for, and with that you know, that really sort of driving you know, groove underneath.
I mean, and, if lovely listener, you get the opportunity on streaming services in the UK now, you can listen to, there's the Kaleidoscopic Backdrop, I think it's called, and it is the 9-minute full version of Inspiration, and it is a absolute treat. It's wonderful, and it never outstays its welcome. You know, sometimes you feel like sometimes these tracks, they kind of just go on and on and on. No, this one is a proper journey.
Yeah,
it's beautifully done.
Oh wow!
I'm a fan. I'm a massive fan, Victoria. I'm literally, I'm like the swan. I'm acting all kind of chipper on top, but underneath I'm paddling. Next up, I think was I Have Peace, and again that was a big departure because they coupled your vocals then with a rap artist.
Know the meaning of peace. What? If a man say he packing a piece, you better run. Cause in the 9-6 a piece represents a gun. But I represent the peace that means peace of mind. Free of madness.
I can't remember his name, but I love that tune. It's fantastic. I even know the first half of the rap word for word. I'm not going to do it now.
Wow.
But I did.
Peace. I gotta have peace.
I got a unleash from the belly of the beast. Yeah, I know it all.
Oh god, that's fabulous.
Did they just want to kind of experiment a little bit with adding more kind of musical elements to what they already had?
Once again, I mean, it's so far long ago. I sort of can't remember the ins and outs of it, but I think Matt and Andy were sort of starting to go down a different path, and I think that Matt had already collaborated with Aston, who, God, I hope I've got that right, to form the Freestylers.
Yes.
If I'm right. And so, you know, he was starting to sort of go down that big beat, breakbeat route. And so they wanted to do something a little bit more grassroots, hip-hoppy, you know, hip-hop influence, urban influence. Something a bit more hip, basically. They sort of felt that wasn't maybe the previous sort of vibe was getting a little bit unhip for them. So they
Okay.
wanted to, just kind of change direction and bring in a sort of different sound with more of that grassroots,
Yeah.
influence. So, and I mean, it was a really interesting change. I mean, it was definitely something that I mean, I never sort of thought I would be doing that, but it wasn't really necessarily my scene, but I really did really loved it. Actually, I loved that track particularly, and just having the rap in there, and that guy was a really interesting guy to work with. I think he was producing at the time for All Saints,
Right.
Remember
Okay.
the 90s group All Saints? Yeah. So I'm not sure how Matt and Andy met him or how he sort of came into the picture, but it was very interesting change of scene, break dancers and stuff like that, going out and doing the live show, and having a bigger sort of production, and especially when we went out to tour the album, it was really good fun.
I was going to say, we'll come to your touring in just a second. So after that, I believe, then you went to the Paula Abdul cover of My Love Is For Real.
Oh yeah.
And that was bigger in the dance charts than the original in this country. It's Ben's favourite. He'll slap my hand if I don't tell you that. And so how did that come about? Because that was almost like going back to the You Sure Do style, wasn't it? It was the perfect
yes, it
cover
was
as well.
actually. Yeah. And the actual the first version of that, the first draft of that track was very different than what it turned out to be. It was actually less poppy. That it was just heavier and a bit darker. And then maybe on the advice of the record company, they kind of, they sort of produced a poppier sound, which I think really worked at the time. But I cannot quite remember the actual, the sort of reason for doing that particular track. Yeah, I think that might have been Andy's idea, actually.
Watching you, wondering what I feel inside. Deep in my soul, I've got nothing to hide. If you ask me how I feel, 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 my love is for real.
Yeah, if I remember, it was him who was really into that track, so they just kind of played around with it, and but it was great idea at the time, I think, and so
it fitted the canon perfectly.
yeah,
And then the album
absolutely.
came out. Now I do have the album. I have the album on CD. I can't find it. I think I lent it to Ben, and I think he brought it back, and it's somewhere. But what a great album! And it must have been really tough for dance acts, because you obviously have to put a collection of your music out there somewhere.
Yeah.
You look at people like Living Joy, Baby D, Corona. They all made dance albums, and whilst they were really good, they failed to do quite so well in the charts because people were convinced that they'd just be listening to the same song over and over again. So it must have been really tough with the album. But if you listen to your album, there are influences of what the two guys, Matt and Andy, would have gone to have done later.
Yeah.
So there's elements of the freestylers in it. There's elements of the Plump DJs. It's some of it is cut and paste. Inspiration is very different. It's trip hoppy.
Very different.
And the whole vibe of it is like a mishmash of trip hop, power pop, dance. Your vocals are continuous. You get the opportunity to sing some really lovely ethereal ballads. You must have been so proud of the album when it came out, and then to be able to go and tour it. How was the tour? How was it presenting these tracks to an audience?
It was very interesting because in a club, obviously, I think, it's not like doing a live gig where you do, sort of an hour set or a 3/4 of an hour set. normally as a PA, you're sort of on for 2 or 3 songs and then you're off. But you know, we're actually on for about 4, sometimes 5 songs, and I think people were just quite fascinated at you know, the different styles. Of course, obviously doing "You Sure Do," which is usually the last track, and doing such a mix of tunes, because normally in that set we did Inspiration. We didn't do Free at Last, I don't think. But Inspiration, My Love's For Real, You Sure Do, and I Have Peace. And another track on the album, Come With Me. Oh, that's one of my favorite tracks on the album, actually. Yeah, it's I cannot remember how that came up, but sometimes it was a case of, you know, they would do a track and I think I'd improvise some ideas, and then that would maybe become the main hook of the track. Yeah, so it was a very creative process. It wasn't all really sort of formulated. Matt and Andy were two very, very creative DJ producers, but they were also really, really good musicians, and was so creative with the way they sampled things and cut up different samples and sounds, and, you know, did all the technological side of the production, which I know stuff all about. But yeah, I just really admired their artistry in the way they sort of crafted their music. It was just absolute genius, and I think that album is a real reflection of that, you know, their real artistry.
And that was what it was. I mean, like you said, they were musicians. You were all musicians. It wasn't just, you know, trying to make money out. I mean, obviously, you're a business, so you have to make money. But it was excuse me, about the music, and I think that's what you get more so with British acts around at that time than some of the European acts who wanted to kind of just keep churning the hits out for the charts, which they did. But it had a shelf life. So what happened? How did Strike then sort of disband, or how did the project finish?
Well, I think Matt and Andy kind of, you know, went off further into their own projects. They stopped doing the PAs quite a long time before. I would go out with dancers and sort of keep promoting the tracks, and that way. They sort of didn't really want to do it anymore. So it sort of kind of gradually, I think after the album and after we toured the album, and it sort of started petering out of its own accord, which was sad. But it just kind of came to a natural close. And, you know, it was wonderful while it lasted, and I was sort of sad that it came to an end. But it's sort of, we've still got those 5 singles and the album to really, you know, as a memory to those incredible times and those amazing creative moments in the studio, and them giving me a hard time about my singing.
Oh no!
oh no! It's funny because
they don't they? The dance producers are so particular. I used to be a singer on the London scene, probably about probably about 6 years after you. But then I worked with a dance producer in the early 10s, and nothing I sang was ever good enough. You know, it could always be bettered, because the sound has to perfectly match with the EDM, and you can't get away with it on a dance record.
No, and because it's so sort of it's so tuned in a particular way, you know, the human voice sometimes just isn't like that. You know, the sort of sounds and the frequencies that are produced are different, and yeah, you know, I think when you're working with sort of computers all the time and those sounds and samples and stuff like that, and you can sort of tune everything to sound, you know, exactly the way you want it, you know, then you expect someone to come along and sound exactly the way you want them to. And you know, that you can do that, but within a certain sort of framework. You know, you can't sound like one of those when you sort of press a sample of the you know, and the voice comes out and it just sounds almost like robotic. You just, yeah, you can't sound like that, obviously. But yeah, it's quite hard. But you know, of course, now everything is just so completely overproduced, and so, you know, it's like the photoshopping of sound. You know, everything is so what's the word I'm trying to think of? Compressed and you know, auto-tuned. And
it's just all electro. I mean, so I was listening to a podcast about auto-tune the other day, and they sort of said, you know, sometimes they just they put someone's voice through and they just make a melody through auto-tune. They don't even need the person to sing the melody.
Yeah.
It's scary.
But, you know, you listen to, it is really scary, but you listen to so many of those old recordings, you know, of the 70s and 80s and even long before that, and there's nothing like a real performance.
No.
You know, with all the little imperfections, there's nothing quite like it. But of course, it depends what music you're doing. You know, I think in the context of an electronic you know, with an electronic production, it has to sound a certain way. But sometimes it is very, very difficult when you're actually on the other side of the microphone.
So who were when you were touring around and doing your PAs, etc.? It sounded like quite a hectic schedule, playing lots of clubs and all that. Did you have any Did you have any sort of either label mates or friends that you would see on the circuit who were doing the same thing? I've spoken to Tinker from Clock, for instance, who said that they all used to get together when they were doing things like the Smash Hits parties and things like that, and she used to see quite a few on the circuit. You know, did you have any music mates who were doing it at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I used to see Rosala quite a lot.
Oh,
and
I
Rosala
love
and I,
Rosala.
She's just gorgeous. I've ended up on several shows with her, and we got on really, really well. And you know, she was a great person to chat with after the PAs or before or whatever. And who else did I used to hang out with? I toured quite a few times with Rebecca from Berry.
I love my
I
goodness.
want to see the sunshine after. Yeah, she's and she and I have remained in touch. We've stayed in touch ever since.
Oh, fab.
In fact, I did. I did a sort of an interview with a guy who lives in, oh God, where is it? My brain is really not working this evening. Is it Lanzarote?
Mm-hmm.
Tenerife. And he does a show there, and he actually he surprised Rebecca with me coming on to Zoom, and we did the interview together. It was so lovely. It was so great to see her. Yeah, so I toured on and off for a few years with her. I also became quite good mates with Jorinda from Oceanic.
Yes. Yeah. Insanity.
90s. Insanity, that's right.
Yeah.
God, you're like an encyclopedia. That's amazing.
It's my jam. They're my jams.
Talking up encyclopedia, my God. That's incredible. And who else? Look, I used to see a lot of the same people on shows. Oh, goodness me.
It was a golden age. It was a golden age of dance music.
Oh, the golden age. God, I can't even remember the names. You know, the people who did Urban Cookie Collective.
Yes, who sadly, yes.
Passed away a few years ago.
Yes.
So
she also sang on Goldie's Massive
that's
hit.
right. Inner City, the Inner City Life.
Yeah, amazing.
Inner City Life.
Yeah, Inner City
Yeah,
Life.
incredible track. Yeah. So various people over the years, I used to see Peter Andre quite a lot when I used to at a certain time of the touring life.
Fellow Australian.
And fellow Aussie,
Yes.
I don't I don't think that made any difference to him, quite frankly.
He was a bit booked for his body in those days, wasn't he? So obviously we, like I said earlier, before COVID, I booked to go on about 3 or 4 of these sort of 90s throwback festivals. I've seen Baby D, I've seen Living Joy, I've seen Capella, I've seen Two Unlimited, all the greats are all coming back. Plus we have a massive surgence of 90s music on streaming services, and it's all coming back into, you know, into public conscience, and kids are being played music that their parents used to listen to, the parents who are my age. So you're obviously getting a lot of new fans as well as the diehard fans. And You Sure Do is one of those tracks. Like I said, everybody knows it. My generation know it because we grew up with it. The younger generation know it because it's played all the time in nostalgia. What message would you have for Strike fans, diehard fans and new fans?
I would just say, keep dancing, keep the music alive. You know, keep supporting it. Just keep living it. Just keep living it. We just really need music. Well, music keeps us going. Music really keeps us going at the moment. And I'm just so thrilled to have been a part of that scene, which just keeps it just keeps going and going and going. It keeps coming back and sort of reaching new audiences and stuff. So yeah, just keep the music alive, everybody. And yeah,
it's going to get us through these tough times. It really is going to get us through these tough times.
Absolutely.
Well, if you can imagine what You Shall Do, what the backdrop that You Shall Do has provided in some situations. It's so much a part of our fabric in the UK. It's such a tune. What's next for you then, Victoria? Because obviously, I mean, Strike finished. I'm not sure now. What year did you finish? 98?
Yeah, it was probably really 98, I'd say, because the album came out in 97.
Yeah.
97. And so it kind of gradually, you know, started to ease out from there. But you know, the PAs were still sort of going on all through the 2000s. I was still doing regular PAs up until the end of 2007, which is when I left to come back to Australia. And every now and then, you know, when I come back to the UK, which is normally every year to 2 years, sometimes I do a PA when I come back. But, you know, it's like anything, the longer you leave it, you sort of start to, it becomes unfamiliar. And so, you know, you kind of really need that boost of confidence to get back into it again. But yeah, it's, well, the next thing for me, I mean, teaching has become such a big part of my life, and I still gig. I still do jazz gigs. My real passion besides dance music, I mean, I've got back into a bit of rave music actually, and I've been making rave tracks with this guy.
Oh my goodness!
This DJ who lives here.
All my dreams have come true, Victoria.
We've been writing some stuff. It's so exciting. I did a show in Melbourne last year. It was like very, very small, but you know, it was to a very, very appreciative crowd, and like doing lots of freestyling over tracks at little raves, and which is really cool. So that's my little revisiting into dance music. But the other side of things, you know, I do live music, do jazz gigs, and my other passion is Brazilian music.
Wow.
I absolutely love singing, you know, that over samba rhythms, bossa nova rhythms, and that's what I really have a passion for.
Fabulous. And you can find more about Victoria through her Facebook page?
Yep, the Facebook page. I'm actually going to have one of my students training me properly in social media, because it's I'm a little bit behind with updating everything, but also I have a Reverb Nation page.
Okay.
Which has got a few more of the tracks. It's got some of the videos, the strike. It's got all the strike videos, so people can actually check out that page. It's actually Victorian in jazz. Oh, shock horror! Yeah, or the Facebook page, whichever. Yeah.
Well, I can just thank you so much for talking to me. Well, it's been this afternoon here, but this evening with you. I cannot tell you, you've made my year, my life, my dear.
Oh.
It's I mean, with the advent of social media, if anyone had told me at some point I'd be sitting talking to Victorian Youth from Strike, I would have laughed in their faces. So it's really been fantastic for me to hear about some of the memories and to really kind of crayon in the gaps for all of my favourite tracks. I'm going to go and listen to the album non-stop now.
Oh, you darling. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for asking me to be interviewed and to chat with you. It's been a great pleasure.
Okay, you heard a little bit of inspiration at the end of that interview there. What did you think, Ben? Thank you to Victoria, by the way.
Well, I like a lot of Strike's tracks, and this is probably on a par with My Love Is For Real. It's my favourite Strike tune.
Which was a Paula Abdul cover.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't remember it that well, actually, but I really liked it, and I liked the whole haunting, dreamlike
it is
vibe I got from the video and from just the song in general.
It's really dreamlike, isn't it? I love it, and I think it's one of those undiscovered gems, because I doubt whether people would have, because I don't think it got very far in the chart. 27, so that's not too bad, but obviously not as high as some of their others. You Shall Do, for instance, was number 4. I remember, do you remember they used to do, maybe not in our price, but some of the more independent places, they used to do bags of CD singles. You get like a bag for £3. No? They were obviously all the crappy ones that they got demo versions of.
Yeah.
But you got a few gems in there. So I remember actually, I was waiting till the guy had gone out the back, and I opened 2 of the bags and swapped all the CDs around, and Strike's Inspiration was in the new bag. So I got a bag of Wonder, and then the next person.
Can you remember where it was from?
It was a place in Cornwall.
Oh,
actually.
was it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And that was in there. What else was in there? Shara Nelson.
Oh,
of
yeah.
hers. Some dreadful group called Raspberry Rocket.
Oh God, I don't remember that. No.
It's awful if you ever, not great. And I think there might have been a rap single in there. And D-Ream.
Oh yeah.
Which Shoot Me With Your Love, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a proper, for £3, I got a bargain.
Good.
So I love that one. Have you heard the album version?
Yeah, no, I did listen to some. No, I think I did listen to it. Sorry, I thought it was I thought it was I Have Peace for some reason.
Yeah, they sound very similar.
Oh, do they? Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. No, I liked it as well. Yeah, not as much as this one, not as much as the radio version, but
it's one of those tracks that just has that twinkling piano in the background. There's just loads going on, isn't there? I love it. It's like a little glittering jewel.
No, I really liked this a lot, and I hadn't seen the video before. And I liked the whole pool vibe. Was it an empty swimming pool?
I don't think I've seen the video.
Haven't you?
I don't think so, no.
No, it was good. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ben, and thank you, Victoria. We really appreciate that, and we hope that everything's okay where you are in Australia at the moment in these crazy times. Last one up for you is, you say it because I can't pronounce it right.
I have to have my list here.
Bloom.
Oh, Bloomchen.
What's the song? What's it called?
Oh, Bloomchen. Nurgetweit.
You just spat all over my bed there.
Sorry. Yeah, Nurgetram, which is a cover of Naina's Nurgetram. It was a huge hit for Naina in Germany in 1983.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Here's a bit of it.
Nichts verzeihen, denn ich hab nur von dir geträumt. Wir haben uns lang nicht mehr gesehen. Ich werd mal zu dir rübergehen. Alles, was ich an dir mag, meines so wie ich es sag. Ich bin total verwirrt, ich werd verrückt, wenn's heute passiert.
Was it covered by an awful happy hardcore DJ in the noughties?
I don't think so. She is the awful happy hardcore person. It must be this you're thinking of. Oh, that's Special D. But that's
Is
not
that not the
Nurgle.
same song?
No. No, that's Come With Me. I don't think that samples this. Or maybe it
It
does.
sounds exactly the same.
Maybe it does.
It was a bit fast for me. I didn't dislike it. It's fun. The video is fun. And I think I prefer this one than Double D. Was it Double D? DJ.
Oh, Special D.
Special D. Double D. That's bra size. And actually, there's one bit in it that just sounds exactly the same as I Can't Stop Raving. It's exactly the same. Did it sample
Maybe
it?
it did. I don't know.
Right, how do you spell?
Hang on. Let me have a look.
I prefer this one to that one though. But if they're not the same song,
I'll
they're
look up.
very, very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds exactly the same.
Well, they were at very similar times, so. Oh yeah, that is very similar.
Okay, so that's Blümchen. And last up for me, Ben, is...
Juice, No Surrender.
Here it is. So it's actually the remix, isn't it?
The
It's
New Earth remix.
New Earth remix. What did you think?
Well, I said definitely improvement on the radio edit, which
Yeah,
I thought was
really-
pretty awful.
Yeah.
And I love Juice's first 3 singles as well, and I had the album as well.
I had the album on tape.
Did you?
Mm. Lisa
No,
Armstrong of
I've-
Ant McPartlin fame.
Yeah. I know, I just realised that she's
I was so in love with the blonde as well.
Oh,
He was
Craig.
gorgeous.
I know, then he came out, didn't he?
Yeah, and I have
I was
actually
really shocked
tweeted
at.
him to ask him to come on the podcast, and he did like it, but then he never got back to me. So,
Oh.
Craig, if you're out there, we'd love to speak to you.
But yeah, it was a good remix. It was kind of quite Motivate, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I like it, because I love Motivate. I think I was struggling by this point to try and find something that wasn't housey.
And I just put energetic and happy, but run of the mill 90s fodder.
Oh dear.
I know that's rich coming from my crap.
Well, there you go.
But I just put nothing groundbreaking. But I did quite like this remix. I
Yeah.
did, and especially after the No Surrender.
Yeah.
And the long instrumental bit that came after that, I really enjoyed.
I think it's no surrender. I think it's for me it was just I think it was the most Eurodancey I could get without, like I said, straying off into house. But for those of you who don't know who Juice were, they were They were just a group that got together in 1995 with a huge hit called Call It Love, which was an instant top 20 UK hit. Lisa Armstrong was in it, Craig Young, Paul Holmes, who's now was writer for one of the Bee Gees, and Kelly O'Keefe, who just had a wonderful voice.
She was the first to leave, wasn't she?
She was. Then Kelly left in, she left in 96, I think. They did a song for the Eurovision Song Contest in 95.
I Need You.
I found that in the charity shop as well. That is a classic tune. I love that tune. I don't know why it didn't get in. What are we doing?
Didn't it?
Blooming crazy. And they had such a campaign as well.
Below Love City Groove and Dear John, wasn't it?
I don't remember Dear John. But I did love
One
Love
Gift
City
to
Groove, and I am friends with Yinka from Love City Groove.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
So there you go. Now, if you had to choose a fave out of all of those, which would you choose?
Oh, have yours. It would have to be Your Arms of Lorraine, I think.
Okay, well done. Evoke.
And what about mine?
I think
That's the biggest laugh of the day.
It would be a toss-up between. Ooh, I think I'm going to go with Amber because it's far more up my street.
Yeah,
but it was a toss-up.
To
be fair, it was a toss-up between Amber and Master Boy.
Was it?
Yeah. So, I would listen to Amber again.
Not the rest.
Oh dear. Well, there we go. That's 96. Now, don't go just yet because normally what we do is we go rooting around in my singles collection and Ben picks out 3 of his favourite singles, but we're not doing that because this year, 96, was the year of the remix CD, wasn't it?
Yes.
There were so many 96 remix 2 CD collections of just continuously remixed hits. And here are just some of them. So we've got Club Mix 96, 1 and 2. Got 2 out of 1 year. In the Mix 96, which was the lead one, wasn't it? They 3 versions of that. Kiss Mix, one of the Ibiza ones, and the normal one, and Big Mix 96. Now, they're obviously much for muchness, but based on the back of those, which one would you choose and why?
What, just
have to pick one of the CDs, yeah.
Oh, one of the CDs. Oh, well, I had... It's got to be a toss-up between those two, because I had those.
Right, we'll go and have a look. So what tracks are going to swing your favour? Now, these are obviously very housey, aren't they? There wasn't a lot of Eurodance.
I remember there was a Mr. Friday Night.
Oh, Lisa Moorish.
Lisa Moorish, that was a fantastic
Goodfellas remix, yeah.
That was
Let's listen to a bit of that.
Gonna fool us girls no more with your lies and your darkness, baby. You are. You are. You are.
I love that. And now...
Third Dimension featuring Julie McDermott was one of my favourites.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Don't Go.
Don't Go, much better than the original, which was like quite a few years earlier, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was that Hyperactive, the original, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
What are the ones I love on here? So No Surrender's on here, but I think for the most part this is a bit uninspired. DJ Dardo, X-Files remix. Do you really want to know?
I loved that. And H2O featuring Billy as well.
Oh, tune. If you're gonna work on Sunday and carry all day Monday.
This is part of it. This is looking through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this probably wasn't my favourite, although I did like Hot and Wet by Sant.
I don't remember, but I do love Alcatraz, Gimme Love, though.
I'm not a fan of that.
Are you not? I really like
Do
it.
you
I
like-
had it written down on my 96 list, but I just didn't
Do you
know
like
how to mention
Addis Black Widow? I'm not a murderer.
Don't remember
I'm
it.
innocent. Oh my god, that's brilliant. I'll play a bit of that now.
I'm not a murderer.
Telling me you're innocent?
I'm not a murderer.
Telling me you're innocent?
I'm not a
slip down. Previously I got out, watch your head, here and there, bust this now. Curious kills cats and that ain't legit. How could I be why me for the prom? I didn't commit props over here, I guess I got it, so they
I
say I
actually
should.
think if I was to choose...
I would have to go for Mr. Friday Night, I think.
Okay. I think...
Oh, was that what you were going to pick?
No.
Sorry.
I think if you're taking those two, I'd probably take these two.
Oh, would you?
Because on here is Reel to Reel's Jazz It Up, which I absolutely love. Love Tribe, Stand Up. Do you know that one?
Don't remember.
Stand up, reach your hands up high. Abigail's Night Moves.
Don't remember.
These are all housey.
I mean, I thought that I don't remember. I recognise the title. I don't remember how it goes.
On here is Be As One, Landslide by Harmonix, which you weren't so fond of.
But no, saying that though, I was listening to it again yesterday and I did like it better.
Yeah, it's a nice tune.
Yeah.
It's nothing special, but it's nice. And Stars, the Motivate version, Dubstar.
Yeah, that is quite good.
Oh, it's fab. And of course, Salt Tank by Eugenia. Do you know that one? It's very chilly.
Oh, is
chill,
it?
chill out. In the Mix 96 Volume 2 and Club Mix 96 Volume 2.
Mine's Kiss and Ibiza 96, which I had on CD, and I had Club Mix 96 on tape as well. And
so you had to keep fast forwarding it.
I did to get to Lisa more. Yeah, but I do love this. Yeah, there was there's some really good songs on that one.
But true to her name, she is very Moorish, isn't she, Lover?
Yes.
And she had a baby with Liam Gallagher.
Did she?
And with Pete Doherty from the Libertines.
Oh, God.
She was a bit of a rock star dater.
Gosh, I didn't know that.
So did you ever hear her version of I'm Your Man?
No.
Oh, loved a bit
I
of
didn't.
Lisa Moorish. She was good. So that was 96. I hope you've enjoyed it. So if you want to carry on the conversation, jump onto Insta. What's that Insta address?
No Limb Podcast.
Lovely. And you'll see lots of Ben's pictures, etc. from all of the years that we've talked about. Thank you to Victoria. Thank you to Ben. And we'll see you very soon for 1993, which is up next. Hope you enjoy yourselves and keep safe. See you soon. Bye.
Get in touch on Instagram at No Limb Podcast.